Prime Field.
UConn is 31-0, has won 47 straight, and is beating teams by 37.8 points per game. So here's the blunt question. If the Huskies are this dominant, is the Big East tournament actually a challenge? Or just the final warm-up before the real war starts? What's good, hoop heads? Today's thesis is simple. UConn's Big East tournament run matters, but mostly as preparation for the NCAA tournament, not as the true measuring stick of this team. So let's start with that part nobody can argue with. The machine is ridiculous. UConn finished the regular season 31, 0, and 20, 0 in the Big East, and the official team numbers are cartoon level. 88.5 points scored per game, 50.7 allowed, plus 37.8 margin. That scoring margin is the third highest in Division I women's basketball history. So yes, the Huskies are not just good, they are operating on dynasty benchmarks right now. And now look at the bracket. The 2026 Big East Women's Tournament runs March 6th through 9 at Mohegan Sun Arena, and UConn opens in the quarterfinals on March 7th against the winner of Georgetown versus Butler. That matters because UConn is basically playing a postseason event in its own backyard against teams it already handled in the regular season. That is why so many people are calling this a warm-up. It's tournament basketball, but not tournament danger. Now, to be fair, warm-up does not mean meaningless. It means UConn gets to sharpen timing, pace, rotations, and late-game habits in a pressure setting without the same bracket-level threat other contenders are dealing with right now. While the SEC and Big Ten are throwing ranked-on-ranked haymakers, UConn gets a cleaner runway. Because here's the uncomfortable question. Is the Big East helping UConn peak or hiding what still needs fixing? The committee's second top 16 reveal on March 1st kept UConn as the overall number 1 seed and projected the Huskies to the Fort Worth 1 regional. That tells you the committee loves the eye test, the efficiency, and the dominance. But the pushback is real. UCLA's resume includes a much deeper pile of top-end wins, and the national 1 seed race is still being framed as not a lot of separation. That's the core tension of this video. UConn's perfection is real, but the Big East does not give them the same week-to-week resistance the SEC and Big Ten powers see. And Geno Auriemma has basically admitted that March requires a different identity. He's talked about needing a regular season team and a tournament team, which is coach speak for this. January beauty does not automatically equal April survival. Even more telling, Geno hasn't acted like a man satisfied with 31-0. He's continued pointing to lapses, offensive rebounding, focused drops, ugly possessions inside blowouts. That's why the Big East tournament feels less like a coronation and more like a live lab. UConn is not trying to prove it can beat Georgetown or Butler. UConn is trying to make sure those little cracks don't become season-ending problems against LSU, Louisville, Maryland, Texas, South Carolina, or UCLA. So the real question isn't, can UConn win the Big East? Of course they can. The real question is, will the Big East expose anything before the NCAA tournament does it at full speed? And the reason most people still trust UConn anyway comes down to two names. Sarah Strong has become the face of this whole conversation. She was just named Big East Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year, becoming one of only a few players in league history to sweep both. UConn also notes that she reached 1,000 career points in her 59th game, the third fastest mark in program history. At UConn, where the standard is absurd, that is a monster statement, and the numbers are even scarier than the awards. 18.6 points, 7.6 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 3.2 steals, and 1.6 blocks while shooting 59.5% from the field and 40.7% from three. That is not just star production, that is full court mismatch production. She can punish switches, create from the high post, protect the rim, and wreck passing lanes. She does everything that travels in March. Then there's Azzi Fudd, who might be having the most complete season of her career. 17.9 points per game, 45.1% from three, and a wild 49%. 45.1%, 95% shooting line. This is the version of Fudd UConn fans have been waiting for. Healthy, efficient, calm, and absolutely lethal, when a good game needs to become a bad night for the other team. That's why the Big East tournament starts to feel like system maintenance. When you have Strong as the all-around engine and Fudd as the veteran shotmaker, the conference trophy is no longer the final headline. It becomes the last test run before the bracket gets violent. And yes, this is where the comments section explodes. Is Sarah Strong the National Player of the Year favorite because her efficiency and two-way impact are absurd? Or do you lean toward a volume monster from a tougher league? But even if you think Strong is the best player in the country, there is still one giant shadow hanging over this UConn run. The March 1st reveal projected UConn into Fort Worth as the top overall seed, with LSU, Louisville, and Maryland also in that regional mix. Meanwhile, UCLA sat as the number 2 overall seed in Sacramento after piling up the nation's strongest volume of top-tier wins. That matters because it shows exactly why this weekend at Mohegan Sun is not the full story. UConn might be the best team, but the bracket is where that claim gets stress-tested. That is where Lauren Betts becomes a problem. That is where South Carolina's physicality becomes a problem. That is where Texas becomes chaos, because Texas already owns a win over UCLA and could still shake up the one line if Champ Week gets messy. There are also real internal variables for UConn. Blanca Quinones just picked up Freshman of the Year and 6th Woman of the Year honors in the Big East, which tells you how important she is to the rotation. If UConn is carefully ramping up intensity now, that fits the warm-up thesis perfectly. Geno is not coaching for March 7th. He's coaching for the final weekend in March and the first weekend in April. So let's get blunt. If UConn really is the best team in America, then the Big East tournament should look almost unfair. We should be talking about 25-plus point wins, no fourth-quarter stress, and a team that looks fully in control from opening the tip to final horn. But here's the cliffhanger. Even if that happens, it still won't answer everything, because if the games are too easy, we still won't know whether UConn's flaws are fixed or just hidden. That is why this run is a warm-up, not because it doesn't matter, because it's not the final exam. So here's the verdict. UConn has absolutely earned the right to be called the team to beat. 31-0, overall number 1 in the reveal. Elite defense, insane scoring margin. Sarah Strong looking like the sport's next unavoidable superstar, and Azzi Fudd playing like a championship closer. But the Big East tournament is not the place where the whole story gets decided. It's the place where UConn fine-tunes the machine before it meets programs built to punch back. So sound off in the comments. Is this Geno's most complete team ever, or are we getting hypnotized by blowout margins? And bigger question, is the Big East sharpening UConn or protecting them? Subscribe for wall-to-wall March coverage. Like the video if you want the Sarah Strong versus Michaela Blakes debate next.
Prime Field.